Sanjani said the first retreat, the first interview I ever had, this is a story I've told many, many times, never got tired of. The first interview I had with him was in a 90-day Kilche, and I went there as a student. And I went in and I was absolutely scared out of my mind. I had never had an interview with Zen Master before, and I felt stupid, exposed, petty, you know, like I was probably just, you could see all of my crap and everything, you know, and plus in the Zen environment you hear all these people with their funny clothes and their shouts, and they all seem rather Zen-like and smug in a little way. So I was like struggling to sit through a half an hour without crying because my knee was killing me. So anyway, I go in there and I'm thinking that he's going to say, you know, one of these weird things like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Or something like this. And so I'm shaking and I bow, and I sort of stammer out good morning, and he's really just so cheerful and friendly, and he says in the big smile, he says, good morning, you know. So he said, do you have a question? No. I said, no. He said, I have a question for you. Why did you come and sit this 90 days of Kilche? And I said, because I want to. And he started laughing. He said, that's a #1 bad answer. And, you know, he had this way of doing it where you didn't feel bad about yourself when he would just say these things to you, because you could tell it came from this love place. He said, all right, you ask me the same question. So I said, why did you come and sit 90 days of Kilche? And he leaned over on his stick. I looked in my eyes. He said, for you. And I never got over that. I never got over that. What a completely different upside down. Because I want to. And for you. Really different. So I was like, oh my God, that is just great stuff. So, and it wasn't fancy Zen, weird koan stuff, you know, but very deep. So then I go back to the cushion and sit for the rest of the day. Next morning, interviews again. So when the bell rings, it's your turn. A little less nervous the second time. I'm thinking, okay, now he's going to ask me about the, you know, the bird flying with no wings, or one of these sort of things that you hear about. Go back in the second day, and he says, good morning. Same way. It's good morning. He said, how are you? Good. Do you have a question? I said, no. He said, I have a question for you. Why do you come and sit 90 days of Kilche? So I puff myself up a bit, and I say, for you. And then he says, wonderful, correct. He makes this big scene out of how great it is, right? I feel very good about myself for a few minutes. And I think, oh, I got it. I go back to my seat, and I sit down, and now the mind starts moving. And my thinking is like, wait a minute. I'm just telling him what he told me to say. That's not true. I did not come here and sit this 90-day Kilche for you. So then I was all confused. And then he left. He actually went and was traveling around, and someone else led the Kilche. And as we sat there, all of us together, when it rained, we all got wet. And when it was cold, we were all cold. And about 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day, we were all hungry. And we were all tired about 8 at night, you know. And all these moments, everybody together. Then this for you mind starts to grow. Just a little, not a lot, you know. Go from 0 to 1% to 2% to 10%. Then he comes back, end of 90 days, he comes back he wants to check everybody, you know, and give the big Hey Jay congratulatory speech. Comes back, and now he's going to give interviews at the end. So I think, okay, now he knows I sat 90 days. Now he's really going to ask me the real koan this time. You know, the mouse eats cat food, but the cat bowl is broken, something like that. So, walk in, bow. He does the same thing. He's like a robot, actually. Only a really good robot. He says, "Good morning." "Good morning." He said, "Oh, do you have a question?" "No, I have a question for you. Why did you sit 90 days of Kyulche?" "For you." He said, "Thank you very much." Only that time, a little bit more mind. Not all mind, a little bit more mind. So we grow into this, we grow into it. And so we start out with our practice because I want to. And as we experience that we're not separate from one another, this for you mind just starts growing. When we realize that there is no I, that we have nothing to prove, that we have nothing to defend, that we have no one else we have to become, and that everybody else is just the same, that for you mind is going to grow, 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 grow. So we say it only goes straight 10,000 years. Non-stop, try, get enlightenment and save all beings from suffering. So I hope that we all do that together, and that our I want to mind gets transformed to for you mind. And that's all. Thank you very much for coming and for your questions.